For sale, a glass jar by a clockwork monkey. The bottle swayed between my fingers, the near emptiness registering on my addled mind. Tess was a close second. 5 years, and she'd suddenly found someone else. Yeah, right. Pull the other one. The next bar lined up slowly in my blurred vision. Neon lights, loud music, and bouncers. Shit. I tipped the bottle, finished it, and tossed it to the curb. It only registered that I nearly hit a lady doubled over by a shop after the bottle burst. Squinting, I took in the old crone. A cup of change rested by her side, and a loose piece of cardboard read, "For sale, a glass jar, 1 gold." The lady looked sad under the shadow of night. I dipped into my pocket and bent forward, tossing a coin into the cup. As I started to straighten back up, she grabbed my hand and forced into it a small glass vial.
"Break it when you want to get rid of her."
"What? Break it?" She nodded. I noticed a remnant of glass at her side. Humoring the lady, I dropped the jar on the ground where it shattered. Suddenly, the lady's face changed. Tess looked up at me. Then the lady's face changed again, her mouth falling downward into a frown. In the morning, when the hangover faded, I was faced with the evidence of an ex-girlfriend. Yet for the life of me, I could no longer remember. I felt no pain as I threw away mementos, photos, and deleted her from my phone. But there was this nagging at the back of my brain. I thought back to the old crone.
"Break it when you want rid of her."
Could it have been true? I had to know. That night, I went back, tossed a coin, holding the jar. As old memories surfaced, old, yet the pain felt fresh. My father was a horrible man. Even at 30, the scars run deep.
"Break it when you want rid of him."
I did. Her face changed again, rippling into my father's sneer. Then she came back, only deeper grief reflecting in her eyes. A sticky note on my bathroom mirror verified the truth. Twice more I sought her out. Twice more her face changed to a person that hurt me deeply. Twice more she came back with greater sorrow. The last time as she snatched my hand and passed me the jar, I asked her for her name.
"I have forgotten,"
she said, tucking her head down to her chest. I watched her face change, warping from person to person, lady, man, boy and girl, mothers, fathers, lovers and abusers. "Break it when you're ready," I said, taking a coin from her cup and pressing the jar back into her hand. When the cracking of glass sounded, I found myself sitting stooped over the cup. She lifted her head, bright eyes locked with mine.
"Mary,"
she said.
"My name is Mary."
Mary stretched, her bones cracking from years of stooped posture. I watched her face move, but not into another's. Slowly her lips parted. Her cheekbones rose. A smile formed, and for the first time, I could see her face shining with joy. She walked away into the night while I clasped my cup. I felt the glass jars at my side, and I knew that I was here until another took my place. I felt sad before, but now I was an empty vessel. Days later, From out of the side of my view, I saw a young lady dragging her heels, mascara streaming down her face. Beyond, a boyfriend or husband threw up his arms in anger. She stopped by me, leaning on a lamppost, a hand pressed to her mouth, while she shuddered, trying to hold back the tears. The sound of my rattling cup turned her head. Slowly, like a wounded animal, she came closer. She looked at my sign, turned her face to the skies as if to say, "There are people worse off than me. It's not so bad." Then she opened her purse, placing a coin into my cup. I grabbed her wrist and placed a glass jar in her hand. "Smash it when you want rid of him." Her panicked eyes looked at me, suspicious of what I offered. After sizing me up in the shadows, I bent my head again, as if to tell her it would be fine. Then I braced myself, knowing what was to come, but ignorant of the fact. I heard the glass break, tiny shards spreading over me, embedded into my hands. Then the visions came. Bloody beatings, jealous rage, unprovoked attacks. Under her gaze, my face shifted. She clasped her hands to her mouth as my body withered with pain, contorting to the shape of her boyfriend, bones cracking, face stretching and molding to another's face. Just as quickly, it vanished. But the echoes lingered within, the pain and fear coursing through me. When I looked up, she was gone. The emptiness I felt grew, like a box open to receive anguish, a fathomless pit of misery. I have been sitting here ever since. I can't tell you the year, nor the time. Those that I've ingested haunt me, torture me. I only know the suffering of the souls who bought a glass jar, and my fear that I will stay here forever, soaking up your pain.
And now, for all the times that I fucked up, or as some people like to call it, the blooper reel.
I dipped into my pocket and bent over. The lady looked sad under the shadow of darkness. I dipped into my pocket and bent forward, tossing a coin into the cup. I don't really like the way that came out, because I feel like I was stumbling over words. But I'm trying to read it in the same voice because I don't know. I dipped into my pocket and bent forward, tossing a coin misread. Then the lady's face changed again. Her mouth falling. Why do I want to say fouling? God, that sounds disturbing. Somebody's mouth fouling. Does that mean throw up? Looking at her, I felt sorry, thinking that I had somehow hurt her. Yet I left her there, and I messed up on the line, stumbling over words the way that a drunken man stumbles, walking down to the next bar. Looking at her, I felt sorry, thinking that I had somehow hurt her. Yet I left her there and went on in search of another beer. That last line, just like me, it didn't come out quite right. Yet I left her there and went in search of another beer. In the morning, when the hangover faded, I was faced. Dun, dun, dun. Let's face the fact that I have to reread that line. In the morning, when and I went through, going out, driving faster than was safe. The road was icy, and I could feel the tires starting to twist and turn, pulling to the left. I looked over at his manic eyes as he laughed maniacally. I reached over, buckling in tight, hoping that when the inevitable crash did come,
I'd at least survive. I felt no pain as I went through the... I really should rethink these things. But there was this nagging at the back of my...
Break it when you want rid of her.
That night I went back, tossed a coin, holding the jar as old memories surfaced. Old, yet the pain felt fresh. I did. Her face changed again, rippling into my father's sneer, and I caught up on the yes. Just because I don't know how to read, I blame my father for that. Twice more I sought her out. Twice more her face changed to a person that I can't read lines for. The last time, as she snatched my hand and pressed me for information on what to do and what's in the box.
I have forgotten.
Break it when you're ready, I said, taking a coin from the cup and passing the jar back into her hand. I feel like I stumbled over that word, so we're going to try that again. Break it when you're ready, I said, taking a coin from her cup and passing her the jar. Oh, you know, sometimes I drop lines, sometimes I add lines. Either way, I have to redo it. When the cracking of glass sounded, I found myself sitting, stooped over the cup. She lifted her head and smiled. Oh, fuck that line. Why? Why would that even... No. Slowly her lips Mary stretched, her bones cracking from years of stooped posture. I watched her face move, but not into another's. Slowly her lips parted, her cheekbones rose. A smile formed, and for the first time, I could see her face shining with joy. Let's do that line again. She walked away into the night while I That's exactly what it said. She walked away into the night while I clasped. I don't know how. She stopped by me, leaning on a lamppost. A hand pressed to her mouth while she shed. She locked. Her panicked eyes locked. Why the fuck do I want to say locked when it says looked? Her panicked... Panda! Haha! No, not panda. Her panicked eyes locked... Oh, fuck. Her panicked eyes looked at me, suspicious of what I offered. After sizing me up in the shadows, I bent my head again, as if to tell her it would be fine. I feel like this sentence had a lot of plosives, so I'm going to try and do that again. Her panicked eyes locked. Then I braced myself, knowing what was to come, but ignorant of the fact. And my fear that I will be here, messing up lines forever in this basement as I read.